Now goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19-Man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the other bed, which is the original place for the soul of a man. Waken now, get his jubilee, and abide safe like it's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what Word Electric, Double Electric, is the only bed we're connected. Word Electric, Double Electric, in the powerhouse we're connected. Truth in the TORAH where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn. Cause in this thing, the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly. Cause in the truth there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19-Man is hooking you up to the other bed, to the powerhouse, with you waving. The COVID-19-Man is gonna hook you up, cause that's what Word Electric, Double Electric, in the other bed we're connected. Word Electric, Double Electric, to no one else I'm genuflecting. Word Electric, Double Electric, to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies. The righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19 is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Live the power show, ride this mule around. Well, hello, my fellow DAVARians, and welcome to HD 28, Adavarim Torah Volts 613. Welcome, it's good to see you, gather in. Gusto de verla, señora Patty. Gusto que está con nosotros. Everybody else, I love you coming and joining us. Brian, good to see you. Rosa, Brianna, everybody, come on in. It's time to participate and to learn today of the good news, of how to elevate the truth to its original place. We're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff today. Let's go to our main page here. And so here we are, and we are happy to have you. It's good to see you again. I'm dressed up in the way that I dress to go walking, so I don't have time to be changing. So that's why you see me like this. This is my walking gear. This is that's how I dress up. I just come and sit down and got to do this. So sorry to be a little late, but yeah, I didn't have time to change, so I just went ahead and dressed up the best way I can with my walking gear. All right, so we're back again, and we are going to talk today about how truth falls and how to raise it up. Okay, and that's what we're going to be looking at. And when I refer to truth, I'm talking about Torah's reality understanding to have and to hold. There's a Torah reality understanding that the alphabet, which is the Father, has, and that's the one we need to adopt. And once we missed on that, then truth falls down, because then we value something else as truth, and it's only fakery, you see, and that's what I've been dealing with today. If you've been noticing the little things that I've been posting, but it's good to have you here. Let me go to my regular window just to say hi and to greet you guys. Let me see. Let me go here. One moment. All right. Okay. Let me go here. There we go. So here we are, and how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing okay this week. I got a lot of time to do some walking. I've been walking every day. Thanks be to Hashem, I've been keeping the good habit. And so that's the whole idea that I wanted to do. Because the other way, if doing this every day, I wasn't able to walk every day. Well, now I'm doing my hour to an hour and a half every day. So that is good. That's good news. And I'm being able to keep that up. So that is very encouraging. And let me see here. I hope that you're hearing me well. Okay, I have my sound as loud as I can and speaking as loud as I can. And so it's good to see some of you here. I showed up, and glad to have you. Let me put it here. All right, Andy, I see you there. All right, all right. Barefruit, I'm here. Okay. All right, all right. Everybody's here. That's good. And so, and that's what we're looking today. We're going to be looking at several things to make us understand, the how is that value has been lost and it's been attributed to something that is not real. Because you understand that with the Aleph with the Creator, only things that function are real. Things that just have a name but don't function, it's just like plastic stuff. It's not real. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today. Let me share with you the picture of what I talked about today here. Let me see. Let me take you to this. And then I'll take you to another window. Because I believe this thing that goes up and down HDTV 28 interrupts some transmission to other people. So I'm going to remove away from this window to teach you the lesson today. Let me get to this thing though. Here, 1 second. All right, let me put the picture I brought up today. I'm so sorry. All right, so here we go. This is a picture that I shared earlier in this post. Some of you saw it. Let me take it to another window so we can preach it from there. All right, let me see here. Okay, we go. So we'll do it from the window of the observatory because we're always observing the Torah here. So I use the observatory background there. And so to refer to this thing, I was talking today, earlier I shared this. And this is an example of how the Torah loses its value. There's only one value system. What happens is that it ends up being transposed, transferred to something else, and that's how the Torah is ignored for a while. But the Torah always remains truth in that it deals with the alphabet, and it tells you how the function of the alphabet, how it works to make all things function. And it's the only one that has a perfect method of teaching us that. And it calls itself the alphabet. So you already see how it lends itself to so many easy things. But here is an example of how the Torah presents the Aleph Bet. That's who the Father is. And the Father holds onto all definitions and meanings. Why? Because the definitions and meanings of a wholesome word makes a wholesome word be able to give birth, to be able to bring products and services. So if a wholesome word can give birth to products and services, it's because it has his mom and dad. It has its meanings and definitions. And so that's why the Aleph Bet tells you to honor father and mother, means to keep, to preserve them, to not let them die. And that meant that at their age, you're supposed to support them. They're not supposed to get a welfare system, but you're supposed to support them because that's how it used to be in the old days. When they grew up, the ordinary family, you took over the business and you supported your family, especially your mother and dad. So it was an honorarium. It's like an honorarium. It's money talking about, the stuff that you spend on them to preserve them. But this is the whole idea. You spend your currency to preserve the meanings. The currency of the soul is the Aleph Bet, the letters and words that flow through our mind constantly. So that's what we do. We preserve that because that's what enables us to do that. So that is the real Father. Okay, we're talking about the real Father. And so he chooses humanity, and his name being Yud He Vav He means that Yud, that's the work, He is to display and reveal, Vav is the connectedness, and He again is life. So it's the work of showing the connectedness of life. He involved all of us that have word encoded in our cells, as the DNA. That's the work of his hand. He did that code for our flesh. He did that code for the RNA for the plants. He did a code for the insects. Everything was coded by the alphabet. So all the living material, all the organic being is connected to life. It's connected to the Aleph Bet. You see, that shows the connectedness. That's the meaning of his name. So he connects to everything. So as human beings, we are encouraged to display the job of being a parent, a father or a mother, by having our own kids. You understand? Because that's the best way from the day one that you're holding and looking at their eyes and they're looking at you, that there is this transmission going on. Your character is already being poured out into the child from day one. And there is this responsibility that comes with it. You have to watch for that child day and night, even in night days when he's crying and nobody there to comfort you. To me, those are aspects of real saintliness. You know, that you sacrifice yourself to take care of a generation time after time after that. But there come churches that will have you believe, because the number one commandment in the Bible is at the beginning. You know, FMR, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That's how you're going to show that you are the Aleph Beth, that you have me as the Father, because you want to show that you want to be in that job of taking care of the next generation and supplying all their needs. And therefore, all will participate in that, in the FMR. There's no exceptions to the rule. Everybody participates in that. But if a religion comes along and takes a little bit of scripture from there, takes a Messiah that does not deliver, because the Messiah was called a rabbi, remember? A rabbi in the Jewish, a rabbi cannot be qualified to be a rabbi. He's got to have a wife. So a wife first, and then you can teach. Because you got to teach about the Aleph Beth, about the Father, you got to teach by example. Okay, so if in the gospel, Jesus was not married, he does not qualify to be a rabbi. He's in disobedience of the Torah. That's not a real Messiah, that's not a real rabbi. I'm just saying it like it is. You take it or leave it. But I go by the Torah, the real owner's manual. And if he said he fulfilled everything in the Torah, how come he wasn't presenting himself as a rabbi that was married? So if there's conspiracy theories that are saying that he was married to Mary Magdalene, that would have been perfect. That would have been in line with the Torah. There would be nothing wrong with that. But if you take a fake Messiah that was a fake rabbi, then you can create yourself the title of a fake father, a fake mother, you know, a fake pope, a person that takes a vow, I will not do the FMR. That means like a celibate vow. I'm not going to have any children because that makes me holier and that makes me dedicated to this, you know. And then somebody else pays for you. Pays for your seminary, pays for your monasteries, pays for everything for you. That's not what a father does. So they take the title of a father and they twist it around and they present it as something that should be acknowledged and should be revered and should be bowed down to as father. And so, no, you are not entitled, none of you are entitled to take the title of God, to being a father, and twisted it and presented it your own way, empty of the real meaning of a father. That's a desecration of the treasure name of God as a father, and you have therefore demeaned that name, debased it, and brought it to the ground. Truth is falling in the streets, and the real character of God is not appreciated for what it is. And that's how things lose their meaning, lose their value. And that's what I was looking here. I put a picture on purpose. On top is holy clergy that's considered holy in this world, and below is our people that want to be venerated now, LGBTQ, all these people that have taken over legislation and are demanding acceptance, are demanding that you bow down and you understand and identify with them and respect them and giving all the due veneration that they're due. But both of these, in their practices and in their profession, they do not do the FMR. All right? So both are guilty before the Torah of misrepresenting the Father. The first one went ahead and took the titles of being a brother or a sister, and it has nothing to do with the flesh. It's just because you belong to a convent, you belong to this group of people. It's everything has to do with just association and having the title, only presenting yourself. You know, therefore, it's a sacrilege to represent who the Father is, to represent brother and sister, and to even give these people the titles of saints and what have you. You know, to me, a mother that gives birth to a lot of children and spends sleepless nights taking care of them while they cry and while the husband is working, that's a saint of a woman to me. You want to call somebody a saint? Do it for somebody that sacrifices for the promotion of the human race. Don't give your value away to something else that is fake, that only takes a title and doesn't live up to what the Torah is. All right, because that's what a true father is. They do everything on their own, they sacrifice, and they build everything on their own. That's what I'm going to read. So Hebrew letters are not phonetics, but also functionality. See, when you are raised in phonetics, when you are raised only on the sound of words, then you only go by somebody say, oh, okay, I'm in this, I'm in that, and you don't check if their behavior matches what the Torah says what that person should be. You only go and take the word. That's why all these people have come along, that are not what they are. Like Bill Gates, for example. He's not a scientist, but he's talking like he's a scientist. And you believe him. And you go along with his advice. Why? Because you are born in the land of phonetics. But if you are the creator of heaven and earth, you're interested in functionality. So all the Hebrew letters have a function. All right? So that's why it says, Ab, which is read. The Hebrew letters are not just phonetics, but also functionality. Father is Ab, which is read from right to left. It's two letters. Aleph Bet means alphabet, but also means father, and not just because the alphabet is a founder or father of all things made by words, but also because the Aleph Bet functionality stands for strong building, or powerhouse, or leader of family. That's why I have this little here. You see, let me get to this thing at the bottom. You see here the different meanings. So strong, strength or leader, ox. So that's the letter Aleph. A Beth is for a house, to be able to be a family. So father means this, a strong house, a strong building, a leader of family. All of that you have to show to call yourself a father or a mother, okay? You have to show something. It's not just saying the title. It has to show that. Okay, so let me get back to this. So all this to be deemed worthy or valuable must be done on your own without others donating or footing the bill. Like those that call Father Mackenzie or Father this and that, Father so-and-so, somebody pays for the seminary, pays for the cathedral, pays for everything, and all they do is pray all day. I mean, easy life to be a father that way. Just to give the title, just to get a father title by a seminary degree. And the thing is, out of these people, also, you know how things are right now, the people that take those vows, because it's unnatural vows. It goes against the drives that we have in the flesh. God put a sex drive and everything in each one of us because it's the natural way for us to be attracted to the opposite sex and be able to procreate, to make it easy. It's not like it's something hard to do. So I set it up that way. And when you take a vow against the call of nature in which God set it up, it's going against the Torah. It's going against the maker of heaven. It's not lining up with you being able to connect and represent his name as the connectedness of all life. He wants you to connect to everything that comes from you and never lose sight of it. To be completely invested in feelings and in heart and emotions and everything. That which comes out of you. Because that's a natural way to pass on down the mindset of the Aleph Beth onto the next generation. He just wants to make it easy for you to do his task. Okay? So, in the Torah, the Ab, or the Father of creation, commands all of us to do the FMR, which is be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth, okay? For the mass production of mankind. Because the creator of mankind is interested in mass production. Simple as that. And the manifestation, amplification of the parenting character who he is in this mass production. Because he made to inhabit us, as the father of all creatures here on earth. Okay? Any service or ministry, profession, practice, any service, ministry, profession, practice, or condone behavior that prevents you from doing the commanded FMR is in violation of the Torah's Ab standard. And this desecration should never be esteemed or valued in any way, shape, or form. All these are sin against the Ab. This is not being preached but it needs to be preached. It needs to be told day and night, because the value, that's how truth has fallen in the street. The fake fathers, the fake mothers, the fake brothers, the fake sisters have taken on that title. They're being venerated as Reverend this, as Saint this, as all this stuff, and all this stuff, when in the Bible, to be a saint means to be righteous. Okay, the word that is used by evangelicals and Catholics of being saint or being holy, the word in Hebrew is tzadikim. It's righteous. When you are tzadikim, you're a righteous person. A righteous person just means you follow the right instructions. You look at the Torah, the owner's manual of the alphabet, so that you can use it, the alphabet, at its utmost and optimal, performance in you. Okay? That's what makes you a tzadikim, a righteous person. So it's the equivalent of that. They translate as holy and sanctified. So when you're separated, when you are consecrated just to the instructions of your manual, you are following the right instructions, which in Hebrew is called tzadikim, or righteous, or they're translated as holy, or separated, or consecrated, or saint. But it's not because you take on this vow of this and vow of that, I'm not going to do this and that. That's not what makes you a saint, according to the Torah. What makes you a saint or a righteous is when you separate your mind from all the garbage in the world that is trying to give value system from anything that does not stand to connect you with your Father, who made you, and you only listen to the Torah, to the 304,805 sequences of the letter of the Hebrew letter, which is just passcode to enter into his mindset. That's all you're alive to. That's what makes you righteous. That's what makes you a tzadikim. That's what really makes you what holy is. It's not that you take any vow that goes against the Torah and you're going to declare the word holy and righteous because of that. That is a fake righteousness. That is a fake holiness. And it starts in the realm of the spirituality. They exchange the true one and they try to establish a fake one. And that's how the value systems go down the drain. You understand? So this is what I'm trying to do here, trying to preach it so that the true value will go back to the Torah again, and the Torah will be king above all, because it is the king above all. Its practices and its functionality is done by all, whether they're too blind to see it or not, but they have to do it because the order has been set from the very beginning, and you cannot go any way around it. So everything that the Torah does, the alphabet is doing it, but it's not getting the credit. And those that are getting the credit are desecrating that name. So what happens? So you take it upon yourself, so you're entitled to change what a father and mother and a brother and sister are. So guess what happened? Later down the lane, your own children, like these people, LGBTQ, they take it upon themselves to tell you what a gender is, what is male, what is female, and what everything else that will not create humanity and propagate the mass production mankind is. Because you're going to have to accept everything that they tell you as what they deem to be an acceptable gender, because you took it upon yourself to desecrate the title of what a real father is. So now they're coming back at you to bite you in the ass, saying the same garbage, what a gender is, when you have taught them. It's just a gremlin, like in the gremlin movies, from the little gizmo, the ugly ones come at the end. The last batch is the worst. But they all come from a little watered down doctrine. They all come and they get uglier by each generation that goes down. So this is what has happened. But both of these, the fake fathers and the LGBT that want you to accept all their genders, both of them do not promote the mass production of mankind, are in violation of the Torah. All right? So that's what it comes down to. Okay? Man, I'm feeling pumped up today. All right. But this is what we have to understand. That this is how truth falls. It becomes commercialized and external value systems are created. Then governments come along and they pick it up, and that's how they begin to sell you the little trinkets made out of the dust, the little saints that are painted with gold and silver, because all of those, the people that are at the beginning, people that go into the caves and are praying all the time and they don't want to mingle with society, we think that it's such a holy thing. And they might as well just make something like that just sits there in a little spot in there, and we pray to it, because we have learned to venerate people that are walk away from society and do not participate in mass production. So all of that value system is transferred on down to dust trinkets, and that's how everything spread out upon the earth. And so the job of the righteous person is to realize what has happened. Only the Aleph Beth that made everything and continues to work in us as the currency that makes everything work in us and makes everything be understood so that we can generate whatever product they're asking of us to generate, only that gets the credit for everything that is done, nothing else. All right, so what we're doing here, we're rescuing all the stuff where the truth has fallen and he's been just shattered into disrepute. Because all this thing, that's what it is. It's only disrepute. It's not builds up the character of the Father and the fluidity of the Father in us. All right, so that's what we're looking at. So let me share the lesson for today. But this is what I'm talking about. Aleph Father stands for something that is functional and that you work at it, and you show it, not just as a title that people should venerate and bow down to and revere, but it's something that is, that has the potential to elevate who the Father is, because the Father is in you, and you're honoring the words and you're honoring the letters every moment of the day. Let me get out of this and take another picture here of what I'm talking about today, the lesson for today. Oh, let me put it in here. All right. Okay, let me see. Okay, strong. Yeah, today the strong tower number 9. Yeah, the strong tower number 8. Yeah, they put the lesson for today. All right, so okay, so this is similar to what we talked about last week, but we're going to talk more about how truth falls and how to raise it up. All right, so I'm going to share something from the very top here. It's here. The soul inherits, listen to this is super important. Your soul and my soul inherit the embodiment of the word. Okay, the soul inherits the embodiment of the word his governing operations director teaches. Well, governing operations director is an easy way of spelling God there. G.O.D. Well, governing operations director. Because everybody that acts in the capacity of giving you directions or giving you guidelines, telling you how things work, he is in the capacity of being like an Elohim to you. He's the one guiding you. Just got God in the TORAH is telling us how we can connect with him with his 113 mitzvot. Every company of any company, every owner of every corporation can also give you his regulations of how to manage his product and his service in his business. And therefore he acts like a governing operations director. He takes that capacity or that position. Okay, so the soul inherits the embodiment of the word his governing operations director teaches. Okay, so at the beginning, we were in the mindset of God, understanding everything from his point of view. We knew that the alphabet had been utilized by him. We knew that the alphabet had been used by the Ab, who is the Father, to make all the things that are in heaven, all the things that are on earth, to make all the animals of the field, to make every creature of the waters, everything that has ever existed, all the insects, that the alphabet had done that, and had made you intelligent enough so that you were able to receive his understanding, and were able to understand the functionality of his words, so that when the animals were brought to you, you were able to put the functionality together and give them a name. That's what Adam did. He knew the Hebrew in his functionality, not just as a phonetic sound, because the Creator is always interested in making sure that things work. That's why he will say, and he saw that it was functional, and he saw that it was good. When he says stop, it means he saw that it was functional. He saw that it worked for the purpose that he created. Because everybody that runs a business has to check on the product to see if it works. That's the man say, I want to see if it's good. It's not you see it looks good. You see if it's working, if it's functional, that's the word good. Okay, so that's what he invests in, the functionality of the alphabet. And that's why every person that owns a company teaches you the functionality of what the word is to make the products function. Okay? So God is in the same capacity. So the soul inherits the embodiment of the word His governing operations director teaches. Okay? And let me see. Let me see if I can put. Yeah. Let me go back. Let me take this out and take you to the serpent just to explain this thing from another picture here. Give me a second. If I find it. All right. Let me put this one here. Okay. I shared this a while ago, but this is the serpent and the sun. The equivalent of, one representing the ones whose awareness we became, to represent. We had the awareness of the sun. The sun is that big head that shines its energy, beams his light, his electricity upon the whole face of the earth. So he provides a covering, of light, a covering of energy, a covering of, it's a powerhouse, to the plants, it does the photosynthesis, all this electrifying and giving life and allowing all the plants to be able to exist because of that. So it creates this covering of light, this covering of life, upon all. So it's the one that gives us the energy to all the plant life to exist, and then we are benefit from it because we eat the plants, all that. Whereas the serpent is only this big head with a big mouth that takes everything in. It sucks everything in, until its bitter end, until the end of the tail. It's just like a black hole, that instead of being there just to give life to all, it's just sucking and devouring everything on its path. It's eating everything that's made out of the dust. And so, when you were in your maker here, in this thing, the one that acts like the entrance of the word, give it light, give it understanding unto the simple. That's what each one word does. It illuminates us. It empowers us to be able to figure out what the idea is. That was each word is able to do. And then we become the ones that bring coverage because we know how to make things work. All right. So let me see here. I'm hoping 1, 2, 3. Okay. Just making sure that the thing is working. So according to all of that, so if we're working, with that, so we understand that. So that was the awareness, because we only knew how to use the alphabet from the point of view of the one who holds on to definitions and meanings. You understand? We did not know any better, because that's the only way God uses all the words. But then along came, so in the awareness of being a covering and being a warranty to everything that exists, because you held onto the meanings and definitions of every word, then you had no other awareness of how else the alphabet could be used. But you were introduced to this serpent that began to be your teacher, your governing operations director of how to deal with another way that you could use. And the alphabet will be to consume, to be here to consume something and to become a god as a consumer, And so the awareness of the serpent, the one thing that the serpent was aware of, is that it was the most naked animal of the field. That's the word that is mistranslated as subtle, or smart or wise like that. It's just saying that this animal was the most naked, because it has no covering whatsoever, no hair, nothing. It's pure skin. So it was the most naked, and he was aware of that. So what happens to you, like it says in there, the soul inherits, the embodiment of the word his governing operations director teaches. So if you go to the School of Engineering, you begin to look at everything from the point of view of engineers. If you go to the School of Architecture, you begin to look at everything from the point of view of architects. If you go to be a chemist, you begin to look at everything from the point of view of chemistry. So you embody the point of view, of the governing operations director that is teaching you. So here he was, the serpent, who was very keenly aware that that's what he was in comparison to other animals. So as soon as they consume and they follow the idea of the serpent indicating you can use the alphabet to create a whole economy about consumerism and to keep track of consumerism. Okay? Because with God was everything about being a productioner and the one that does maintenance and the ones that keeps everything new. That was all that God has when he keeps all the meanings and definitions. But they went away from that awareness, and in the serpent they learned about creating another type of economy with the alphabet that deals with consumerism. Let's see who will eat more products and services. Let's see who will consume more of this. Because being naked means you're going to have to get all these things to cover your nakedness. So it works, it lends itself for that mindset. So it became aware that they are naked in this world and they're going to need some coverage. So they were no longer to be the coverage of all creation, but they were going to need all creation to be a coverage to them. Things were turned upside down. The value system went up and down from the best use of the alphabet. It became the worst use by using it that way. And the serpent introduced mankind to the idea of using the alphabet in the worst possible way. To drag it through the mud and to try to get those things to be your covering. Turning everything upside down. You see? And so, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. They became aware of a room. A room is in Hebrew for nakedness. Okay? Because it says they were naked and they were not ashamed. Because they were not in them. When they were naked, they were not in the mindset of what they needed a covering from themselves. They were in the mindset of the alphabet to keep definitions and meaning so they could be a cover to everything that God has created, so they could keep everything new, refreshed, restored. They were looking at everything from God's perspective. But when they began to take the teacher of the room of nakedness and saw everything from the naked perspective, then they began to contemplate the use of the alphabet for the purpose of providing covering for the mindset of the serpent that showed that it felt inadequate being all naked. For them to understand that from the point of view of being a coverage of God, they perceived that, that thing of being naked, and they saw that was inadequate. So they began to work a covering because they were not supposed to be in that naked. It was okay for the serpent to be naked, but it was not okay for them to be like that. But identifying with the nakedness of it, they decided to provide something that will not allow them to remain naked. And that's why the whole coverage idea began in. I remember when I was a little kid, that's one of the reasons as a little kid I never made fun. You know how kids make fun of people that are crippled or something? They point at them. Oh, look at this guy doesn't have a finger. When you're a kid and you see somebody that is missing a finger, or is cut off an arm and stuff like that. Some kids, they're just having fun. You don't mean to be mean, but they will point at the person, they will make fun, they will laugh. Mean stuff that kids do, But one thing that will happen to me, I remember as a little kid, I will never join anybody, would make fun of anybody that was handicapped or was missing a part of their body. Because something that I had when I was a little kid is if I looked at you, if you were a person that had a handicap of any kind, and I saw that you did, but I looked to you for a couple of seconds in your eyes, I felt exactly like I was without that part of my body, in my body. Like if you didn't have a finger, and I saw your eyes, I just felt like I didn't have the finger in myself. So I felt it immediately. I don't know why God made me that sensitive when I was a little kid, but that's something that I had as a little kid. So I never made fun of any handicapped people when all the other kids did. Because immediately I would feel that, that's something I remember. I saw a person laying on the street and I will not see him for too long because I saw their eyes. I felt crippling. If it was the feet, I felt like I had no feet. I felt like all the stuff. I felt it in my body. It was a weird sensation. So I would avoid looking at crippled people because I would feel like them, And by all means, I will not make fun of them because I knew I immediately, somehow I connected that way. That's something that I had as a little kid. Kind of went away now that I'm old. I can look at people and not feel crippled people like that. But my awareness of identifying and looking at things from people's point of view, I think has grown into the area of understanding God now and his point of view and how he looks about the worst usage of his word, because that's what the little gift that I had as a kid has grown into, I believe. But that's something that I had as a little kid, I remember. So I would never as a little kid make fun of any crippled being, only person that was handicapped because of that. Especially, if I saw a person that was blind, I could feel like my eyes was going off. It was awful. It was a weird experience that I had in me. So I couldn't look at people for too long that were crippled or because I felt it in my body, you know. But this is what enables me to understand what people are, what people, the soul has the capacity to embody, you know, and look at things from the point of view of the one that is teaching you the word, okay? And therefore, because we have that ability to empathize, you know, we're able to use that when we go to movies, you know, we identify with, you know, with a hero in the movie and all of that. So, you know, we get into it, we connect that way, you know, so we have all this ability to do that, you know. But let me let me take you back to what we're talking about, and let me finish reading what I was trying to tell you here. Let me go back to the strong tower here. Wow, let me see. Okay. All right. So the soul inherits the embodiment of the word. His governing operations director, you know, that's teaching him. All right. So we talk about how man went from having the awareness of the sun to having the awareness of the serpent. Okay. So how truth falls and how to raise it up. In Isaiah 59:14 says, truth is falling in the streets and equity cannot enter. All right. Now we go to this part here. Take it to the top. All right. Let me see here. All right. Ehad 1. Being exclusively unique or the one and only that functions is what grants you esteem and value. Okay? So to be exclusively unique or the one and only that functions is what grants you esteem and value. And that's why, you know, people in this external world, they create what is called the patent office. Okay? And the patent office is so they can hold exclusivity rights over you. Whatever intellectual property you came up, any product and service that is your own intellectual idea, you have exclusivity rights to be called the one and only that made this work that functions. And I, the one that, you know, if somebody imitates something, I'm the founder, I'm the father of it. You know, everybody else is an imitator, right? So, but you have the value, you retain the value, and that's what gives you value in this mule, you know, in the manpower of hell name economy. That's how it works, okay? And so that's what the whole economy of value system consists of. So they have to have a patent office for the products and services. Then the soul, each one of us that is able to take on the manual of the written idea from all the corporate owners and is able to internalize it and put it within us, and then the alphabet within us, you know, is able to use the understanding that he places in us, the reasoning powers, and all of that to be able to bring that products and service into the market and create those valuables, you know. That is the real care of that patent office that's being done by us, because the patent office cannot really take care, you know, it doesn't have a soul. It's only a place to store it away so that people will give to the external building the value that is in the alphabet that is in us, who is the real one taking care of the idea of the owner and making it, bringing it into shape by the meanings and definition, giving birth to the product. So we also become like a surrogate mother. It brings up the product. We are like the golden goose producing all the valuables. But, you know, but we are doing it all in the dark. Given the value of what we're doing, you know, which is the job of the patent office, is disabled to do that. So we have to do it for it. So what ends up happening is that is transferred. That job of the patent office is what we do. But the value of it is transferred to an external building, and that's how this external building is respected. Because we forget that it's the alphabet in us that is doing all the work. Okay, but all these things comes to blind training, because governments can train you and teach you the alphabet, and they make it mandatory, so they'll train you to look at things their way, from their point of view. So you have to accept their lies and their fakeries as truisms, as axiomatic. That is something that you have to trust and think that that is the reality. But the alphabet in you doeth all the work. So it says, being exclusively unique, or the one and only that functions, is what grants you esteem and value. The app manifests or appears to do one main task, and that is Ehad, Aleph, Het, Dalet. The fortifying or strengthening secure administration of the economy. Okay? and that is, which in his case is the economy of wholesome words. Aleph Beth means father, therefore, we are called to do office ab. That means the office of the patent office. They are called the patent office, the parenting office. Ab means parenting. Patent means pater, which means parenting. So the parenting office is not capable of doing so. We, the harlots, do that for it. All right. So we have to do that. We are called to do the ab, the office of the ab, to all words. In the employment of the ab, in the employment of the Aleph Beth, in the employment of the ab, our souls automatically become exclusive chambers housing all definitions. I just put that in the letters of Ahad. Exclusive chamber housing all definitions. We become this compartment. We take in the knowledge and we house it in, all the definitions. So that's our soul. That's the best thing that we do with words. So we are the creative agents in this world, the one hatching all the eggs, all the golden eggs, all the valuables. So says Aleph Dalet, okay, which is in case it's going to be wholesome words. Aleph means father, therefore we are called to do the office of the Ab, and then to all words. In the employment of the Ab, our souls automatically become exclusive chambers housing all definitions. And this becomes, I got another Ahad here, the exclusivity career humanity activates daily. So we do that because we have to keep the exclusive product of the boss. So there'll be an exclusive company that is doing that, making it function. We're making them retain the value because we're doing it for them. And we do the job of exclusivity. Yeah, the exclusivity career, exclusivity career humanity activates daily. So everything will work. That's the career that we activate daily. We keep the exclusivity of products for all the different companies that we work for. Okay? And so what happened is, so when we walk away from one company and go to the other, that's how, that's how we separate ourselves. We cut ourselves from one awareness to work into another awareness, but to keep the exclusivity rights for each company that we have to end up working. At the end of your life, you might have to work for 10 or different companies, depending how many jobs you have. And each one of them have their own exclusivity rights. And you have to be there to do all this job for them. Okay? For each one of them, you did this job. You were the exclusive chamber housing all their definitions, and you did the exclusivity career. Humanity activates daily, because daily you were activating it and making sure that it happened. Or automatically develop or automatically delivers. That's what you do in order to attribute value to divine truth. Because you can do this for God. You're only in the Torah. You attribute value to divine truth. Truth means Torah's reality understanding to have and to hold. Or to dust trinkets. Things and products that have been made out of the dust. And so for the dust trinkets, people go to the external patent office. And you have to work in the mule to keep their exclusivity rights. And you do all of that for them. This says this is only the economy of, but says yeah, or dust trinket. Now for the Ab, for the alphabet, for the father, only the economy of production is reality. Okay, understand? Because his wholesome words enabling us to be productive is all he, the Aleph Beth, is all he needs to flow and project himself as the alphabet or the Aleph Beth or the father through all of us. All right? And I don't have time right now to read the Isaiah portion, but I might just do this to end it up. So, because to God is what you're doing to make you productive, the wholesome words that you're keeping, so you have to engage your understanding and have to use the currency of the alphabet, to put your thoughts together, your reasoning and your ideas. That's how God is intimately flowing through you, and that's why he engages and how he connects with you. So once the product is given out, all the things are manifested out there, that is not going to help God to have this fellowship and this intimacy with you. It's only when you're engaged, in wholesome words to produce these things that he is engaged inside of you. And he's having, and that's what's reality to God. That's why the whole world, the whole external world, every production of mankind as far as God is concerned, can be disposed of at any minute. And it doesn't matter to God because it is the idea of the words that enable you to be able to engage with him. And the first economy he made was to manifest himself, his personality of being a father in this world. Are you here to take care of everything in your environment? Your husband, your wife, your children, your fields, your animals, your neighbor. You're here to provide all the care possible that can come out of you because that's how you engage with the mitzvahs. That's how you engage with the Torah. And that's how the currency of the alphabet is flowing through you. And that's what matters to him the most. Okay? Let me just quickly read here that Isaiah. Okay, let me go to Isaiah. Okay, I think I can put it here. Okay, here we go. Isaiah chapter 40, let me just put it this way. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that cried in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted. This is a value system that's going up, that's going to be changing. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. Everything that was considered of low esteem by these world standards is going to be elevated, and everything that was considered, such a high value thing is going to go down. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. Okay? And then Isaiah 40, verse 5, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. It says, the voice said, okay, it says, the voice cry? And he said, what shall I cry? And this is the interesting message that God wants to send. The voice, all flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. And all the good stuff that the flesh can come up with, all the products and services that can come out of the flesh is nothing but like the flower of the field. Okay? The grass withereth and the flower faded, because the Spirit of the Lord blowed upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower faded, but the word of our God shall stand forever. It's amazing that these are supposed to be words of comfort, because we live in a time right now with the pandemic and everything that we are afraid of losing whatever little we have. And we have a lot of posts of people saying, I'm just going to be grateful to God for the things I have. I'm not asking you, God, for anything. I'm just being grateful for the things I have. And so we are afraid of losing whatever. The economy is taking away jobs. It's making people sick. It's making everything depressed. It's doing all these things. People are afraid to lose their health, to lose their jobs, to lose their minds. Some of them are getting crazy, right? But interesting, the way that God's sending comfort. He's saying, all flesh is grass. And every work of the flesh, everything that he has ever come with, is just like the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower fadeth away. But this is what we take comfort in, because our economy has not died. The economy of the Father of all creation still alive. And that word is yours forever. Because that's our economy that we were asked to call. All the other economies that are external can go to hell as far as God is concerned, because it's not going to affect in any way his ability to be able to communicate his mindset of you if you want to be in the Torah to understand him. So that's why it's comforting to know that external economies can come and go, And let me continue reading here. It says in verse 40, verse 9, O Zion, that bringeth good tidings, get thee up to the high mountain. O Jerusalem, the city of abundance, that bringeth good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength, lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. Behold, the Lord God will come with strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And he shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. It says, who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out the heaven with a span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance. It says, who had directed the Spirit of the Lord, or been his counselor, had taught them, or being his counselor had taught them, with whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, DOAB, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for burnt offerings. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Because in all the external work of the flesh, once it comes out of us, the intimacy of the word is not in us. It's only in us when we are producing his character and presenting it through his mitzvot, or we are engaged in any place in the mule world, and we are engaged in understanding of keeping exclusivity rights for this external world. Then we are engaged in the olive bath. But you understand? So that's what matters to God. But his main concern is that everything has been done by the olive bath, and it's continued to be done by the olive bath. And that hasn't changed. So at the end of the day, what's the only thing that God holds on to and that he needs us to do? All right, let me get back to this picture again. And we will end with this. All right. So, this, okay, so he needs, okay, for the Av, only the economy of production is reality, because his wholesome words enabling us to be productive is all he needs to flow and project himself as the olive bath or Father or alphabet through all of us. And Isaiah, according to Isaiah 40 verses 1 to 17, we just read. All the Ab uses, all that he uses to do this is the Moshiach. Because the meaning of the Moshiach means, all that he uses is the Moshiach. The Moshiach means the solutions to assimilate, consume, and adhere to the work of his hands, which is verity and judgment and his mitzvot, according to Psalm 111 verse 7, separately set aside and safely guarded. Okay? So, the Moshiach, this means he just needs the solutions for us to assimilate, consume, and adhere to the work of his hands, which are verity and judgment and his mitzvot, according to Psalm 111 verse 17, and they're separately set aside and safely guarded. Because we become that patent office. We are the one that the Torah is supposed to be placed within. It's not like when God gave the Torah to Moses, there was already a patent office already somewhere in Lebanon, or Pakistan, or Iran, where he had to take the book and make sure you hide my intellectual property here. None of that. We were the patent office, and we always the one, the patent office. The one that's, the patent office takes the product, it takes it safely guarded and separated. So we have to become the patent office, and the work of the Mashiach is to teach us to be that, to the original Aleph Beth in the original true owner's manual of the Aleph Beth, which is the Torah. So that's what he uses. All that the Father uses is the Moshiach, the anointed, because his meaning, the word of the meaning of anointed means is the solutions to assimilate, consume, and adhere to the work of his hands. Separately set aside, that means we guard those definitions and meanings, just like a patent office does, and we safely guard them. And we execute them, which is something that the external patent office does not do. It only houses them. But we do that and we execute them, so we deliver and project the Father. Okay? And we can be always in that. And so that is basically what we stand for, and that's what is needed. So, I thought we'll share that. So that's what it takes. You got to realize that everything out in the world is just fakery. Once it comes out of our flesh remains as grass, and the product that we created is just the flower of the field. And then that's going to wither away. But once we have identified who we are, by the word that made us, because that's really our inheritance. Our inheritance is to be the embodiment of the word of the governing operations director. And the only word that we had at the beginning was the alphabet, before the servant interrupted and tried to use it according to his vantage point or point of view. But the word that was truly ours and our true inheritance is the Torah, is the alphabet. That is our life. The Torah and the alphabet and the currency, that runs within our soul, that is our life. We were born and we were fashioned, we were made exactly for that. And we abandon that, that's how you lose life. Because then you go and enter into a grave. Whenever you go into the mindset of an engineer and value yourself by your engineer titles, that's a grave that you embody that knowledge, but you're separated from what the Father is to all words and all that. You have cut yourself off from what the original Father is all about. So that's how things happen. So that's how you go into different graves. Every career that does not promote the Aleph Bet that is original is just a grave where the Aleph Bet is being just hidden there. But everything is about to come out of those graves because this knowledge is going out. And so once again, I'm here to call all the Aleph Bet that's hidden in the different specials, in the different things, and is cut off from the Torah. They're going to rise again and give their value to whom the value belongs to. Because all glory and honor is going to be given back to the Ab as it should be. All right. So now that we have said this, let me get you on the screen here so we can start giving some of the moolah away for the mule. All right. So how we doing here, people? All right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. A lot of comments today. I see. Yes, that's right. A lot of things are being watered down, like you say. Wow, there's a lot of people commenting today. Well, it's good to see you guys. It's good to have you here. All right. But, so according to, okay, let me put, so today's three prices of $80. All right. So let me put it here. Let me get my pen ready. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, let me see. Let me see if somebody was paying attention. This is going to be a simple one, but you have to pay attention from the very beginning. All right. What was, okay, for the first $80. All right, we put, okay, all the way to the bottom. Okay. What is the main title of the message that I gave today? I put at the beginning. It was in black letters at the beginning. What is the main title of the message that I gave today? Anybody can come the closest to that will make $80. The main title of the message for today that I gave at the very beginning, and it says there also in the notes. Okay, so anybody can come up with that. It will make $80 easy. My goodness, Brianna, you're paying attention. Okay. Brianna got it. How truth falls and how to raise it up. That's exactly right. That's what we're looking at. Because that's our focus right now. You know, we know that truth has fallen in the streets. People have taken on themselves the value that belongs to God and attribute to themselves greatness and, veneration and adoration that should only be given to God, and how that's how truth falls. And we're teaching you how to raise it back again, is to give honor to whom honor is due. And that's what we're learning. So congratulations, Brianna. You get $80. Now, you like to participate a lot. So now hold yourself, hold your horses, and don't participate anymore. Let other people participate now, okay? So you got your $80. And now let's see for the second one. All right. For the second one. All right. I told you, I gave you an example, all right, of how, when I said that the soul inherits, the embodiment of the word his governing operation director teaches. I say that part because you easily adapt to the mindset of the one that's giving you the lesson or is teaching you something. You begin, because you want to understand where it's coming from, so you easily adapt to their point of view so you can see things from their perspective, okay? And I said that at the beginning we understood everything from the sun perspective, that the sun gives its sunshine and the light to everything to bring life to all the things in this planet, and that would be more like the mindset of the the alphabet, being the entrance of that word, giving light and understanding. But then we acquire the awareness, not of being a coverage to everything, but to needing coverage. So the awareness of nakedness came upon us, okay? So we acquire the awareness of nakedness, all right? So for $80, what's the Hebrew word for nakedness? The Hebrew word for nakedness. Let's see. Hebrew word for nakedness. What's the Hebrew word for nakedness? See if somebody remembers. I didn't say it that much, but I said it a couple of times. I have Brian Wanta. Arum. That's correct. That's the word for nakedness. And so Brian Wanta. All right. Brian Wanta gets $80. Congratulations. All right. So Brian Wanta. So we have Brian Wanta. Now the third. All right. Okay. Now. All right. So then I was explaining at the end, that God does not need all the products and services that have been created upon this world, that he considers them, as the flower that fadeth, and all the flesh that produces it considered to be as grass. Okay? And so therefore that all nations before him are like a drop of a bucket, or a dust of a scale, okay, or dust of the balance. And so all that he needs and all that he uses, all right, okay, I explained that. All that he uses, therefore, is what? He uses what to be able, to continue for us to have intimacy with him. And all that he uses is what? I put at the end the name there. You can say it in Hebrew or in English, it doesn't matter. What does he uses at the end? Okay, let me see here. A room, let's see where we are here. What does he uses? He uses words, that's true, but he uses, I explained the last part of it. He uses what? Uh, ha 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 ha! Rosa Crispin is the winner. Give it up for Rosa Crispin, Moshiach. That's right. He needs and that is the functionality of the word Moshiach. But that's the word I was looking for, Moshiach, which means the solutions to adhere to the work of his hands, which have veracity and truth, and judgment and mitzvot, and that's so that you will safely guard it and secure it. So that's the whole idea. That's right. Okay, so we have Rosa Crispin as the third winner. Congratulations, my dear. So we have 3 winners today. Brianna for $80. Brian Wanta for $80 and Rosa Crispin for $80. Congratulations, for all the winners today. It was good to have you. It was a good time. It was a good learning moment, and so I got a little excited today, but I guess good. I mean, it's good for my soul to let it out. All right, so it's good to have you guys here. It's good for you to have joined today. I hope things are getting you back, to the Aleph bed, so you have that intimacy to abide in His presence at all times, and to know Him, and let me just close here with a little commercial. All right, let me see. Here we go. So goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19-Man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the other bed, which is the original place for the soul of a man. Waking now, get his jubilee, and abide safe like it's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what Word Electric, Double Electric, is the only bed we're connected. Word Electric, Double Electric, in the powerhouse we're connected. Truth in the TORAH where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn, cause in this thing, the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly, cause in the truth there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19-Man is hooking you up to the other bed, to the powerhouse, with you waving. The COVID-19-Man is gonna hook you up, cause that's what Word Electric, Double Electric, in the other bed we're connected. Word Electric, Double Electric, to no one else I'm genuflecting. Word Electric, Double Electric, to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies, the righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19-Man is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Live the power show, ride this mule around. Well, hello, my fellow Davarians, and welcome to HDTV 28, Adavarim Torah Volts 613. Welcome, it's good to see you, gathering. Gusto de verla, señora Patty. Gusto que está con nosotros. Everybody else, I love you coming and joining us. Brian, good to see you. Rosa, Brianna, everybody, come on in. It's time to participate and to learn today of the good news, of how to elevate the truth to its original place. We're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff today. Let's go to our main page